Hello everyone. Welcome to Hope and Wellness channel. I'm Omid, your host, and today we're going to talk about food. And food is not what you think. So we're going to define it carefully and we're going to see what's the effect of food in your body and how does it work in your body. Let's go through that. So what is food? We think that everything that we can eat and it doesn't kill us right away, like everything that you can buy from supermarkets that usually comes in a package and it doesn't kill you, it's it's food. So it's edible and it's food. And that's incorrect. Food is something that provides you with energy, so helps your body to have the energy to run, to live, to do what it does, like every cell in the body requires energy. And then it should help you to grow. And by grow, I mean to actually getting larger and bigger or recreating tissues or regenerating tissues like healing and recovery. So if you eat something that doesn't do one of those things or does block one of those things and actually impede the body to produce energy or to grow, it's not food. So think about the things that we eat every day. Some of those things that we eat, they are just empty. They're just not food. So let's go further and see what's actually in the food. So in food, we have these nutrients that we categorize it to different things, to different categories. First one is macronutrients. So these big components of the food that we need a lot of it and we can produce energy from it. And we have three macronutrients: protein, fat, and carbohydrates. So, uh, protein is the building block of life. So, every cell in your body requires protein, and every enzyme and a lot of hormones and stuff like that. They need protein. So, you need to have protein every day in your food. And protein is created from amino acids. So, the components of the protein that makes up a protein is called amino acids. So those molecules, there are 20 different of those, and 9 of them are essential amino acids. And it means that you can't create them in your body, and you need to get them from the food. That's why they're called essential. So 9 of them are essential. And it means that protein is essential for your body. So in your food, you need to have protein every day in order to have the building blocks. And it's not, protein is not only for producing energy. And in fact, if you have a proper food, you get your energy from the other macronutrients, not from the protein. And the protein is only used to build tissues, to structure the cells in the body, to create hormones and enzymes and different things in the body. And then we have fat. And fat is very familiar, so it's just oil fat. And fat is created from fatty acids. And we have essential fatty acids as well. So there are a couple of fatty acids that we can only get it from food and we can't make it. By getting those, we can make the rest of the fatty acids that we require in our body to do different things with them. Again, to create hormones. So don't think of fat as something that is not necessary for the body and it's something that is just extra. So low fat is good and zero fat is better and things like that. Fat is essential for the body. It has essential fatty acids in it. Without it, we cannot live. It is used for producing energy, and it is used for regenerating tissues. So the structure of the cells, every cell in the body, it has fat in it. So the membrane of the cells, the outer shell of the cell, the boundary of the cell, the walls of the cell is created from the fat. Okay, so you need to have fat in your food, and it has essential fatty acids, so it is essential. And the next category is carbs, carbohydrates. And these are basically sugar, like table sugar, or starch, like potato, rice, and things like that. And then in carbs, we have fiber as well. Fiber is different. It's basically the same thing, like it's carbohydrate, but the usage in the body is different for fiber. We'll discuss it further. But as you notice, there is no essential component of the carb that we can call it like essential carbohydrate or essential sugar or something like that. And those essential parts are only in protein and fat. So protein and fat are essential to live, are essential for your health and well-being, but carbs are not. Okay? Carbs, you can live without carbs, and you're perfectly fine without it. That's that. And then the other category that we have, other than macronutrients, is micronutrients. Micronutrients are elements and smaller molecules that we need in smaller amount. Okay, so the first type of micronutrients are mineral and trace minerals. So minerals are elements from the periodic table, something like iron, copper, and those kind of things that we need them for the for different biochemical reactions and processes in the body. Okay, so those are like needed for the structure use and for creating like different enzymes and to use to to fast and to speed up some reactions in the body. So they are essential. If we need a lot of them, we call them usually minerals like iron. If we need a little of them, a little bit of them, we call them trace minerals, something like zinc, copper, selenium. That you need them, they're essential, but you only need like a tiny amount of them. And then we have electrolytes. Electrolytes are again minerals. They are elements, so simple molecules, but they are used differently in the body. So we have four of them: sodium, magnesium, potassium, and calcium, and they're only used in a certain way. So they are used to do the electron exchange in the cell, electron transport chain in the cell to create energy. That's one usage. And the other one is to facilitate the signaling and messaging in the nervous system. So you need those to send messages across the body and to create energy. And they are needed for different things as well, like um, for example, some vitamins in order to work, or some processes inside the cell, or from the outside of the cell to the inside of the cell. So from the if you want to transport something from other side of the cell to the inside of the cell, you need some electrolytes as well. So those are very important, and you need a lot of them. Okay, so basically minerals, trace minerals, and electrolytes are the same. They are elements. They are simple molecules from the periodic table. Okay, but I just subcategorize them to make them a bit more clear for you, but they're all the same. You need different amount of them. And then the next category is vitamins. Vitamins are comparing to the macronutrients, you need a bit less, so a tiny amount of them. So you don't need like as much as protein, fat, and carbs. So you need tiny amount, but they are compounds. So they are not simple molecules. They're not elements from the periodic table. So they are a complex molecule that your body requires to do different things. And vitamins are like vitamin A, B, C, D, E, K, and things like that. And your body uses those for different things. And it's not like vitamin A is only for your eye and vitamin D is for your skin and you get it from the sun. It's much more complex comparing to what we think. So every vitamin is used in multiple different processes in the body. So for example, vitamin D is used in hundreds of different processes in the body, and it does almost everything in the body. So those are compounds, and those are things that you can get from the food. You cannot make it yourself. So let's very quickly go through them again. We have macronutrients and we have micronutrients. Macronutrients, you need to have a lot of them and you can create energy based on those categories. There are two of them that are essential and you need to get it every day, protein and fat. And there is another one, carbohydrates, carbs, that is not essential. Okay? That is not necessary for your body to run, to live, to have energy, and to grow. And then you have micronutrients that all of them are essential. You need to have them and you need to get them. These are not things that you can make on your own in your body. And those are minerals and trace minerals if you don't need a lot of them, and electrolytes, and then vitamins. Okay? But I think we missed something. Where are calories? So we think of food, and the first thing that comes to mind is how much calorie it has. And is it high calorie, low calorie, and stuff like that. And we measure it with cal and capital cal and qcal, and those are different units of measuring calorie, counting calorie. And calorie is a unit of energy. So what does it mean? It means that so every calorie is the amount of energy that is required to heat up 1 gram of water 1 degree Celsius. Okay, so if you want to heat up 1 gram of water, just 1 degree Celsius, you need 1 calorie. So, what does it have to do with the food? If you burn your food, actually set it on fire, if you burn it, while it's burning, it produces some heat. So when you say that this carrot has 50 calorie or that meat has 100 calorie or this meal has 2000 calorie, you're actually counting the amount of heat and energy that if you set that meal, that carrot on fire, it will produce. So how is it relevant to the body? Nothing at all. It's not relevant to your health, it's not relevant to your well-being, and your body doesn't recognize calories. It doesn't know how to count calories. So why are why are we concerned with that? So why do we sell that this why do we say that this food is high calorie or low calorie? Simply put, it's an indication, just an indication to say that this food is richer or lighter, stronger or weaker, or it has a lot of nutrients in it or a lot of energy packed in it. So if you want to combine the amount of protein and fat and carbs in a food and tell just a number, just say it in one number and say this food is stronger than the other one, it has more protein, fat, and carb, you can use calorie. Okay, and that's it. You can't use it for any other purpose. And we'll go into a bit of more detail in future videos for calorie and actually food labeling and stuff like that, and you will see those. So that's it. Let's go and see what else we have. Okay, so let's talk about microbiome. We have a lot of microbes in our body. So we have like um, at least same number of the cells that we have in the body. We have similar amount of number of microbes in our body. And they live on our skin, in our mouth, in our intestine, inside the body, and everywhere. And there are good and bad. There are different types of microbes, different strains of the microbes. Some of them are good, beneficial to you, some of them are bad. And we need them. We need all of them. Okay? So, what do they eat? They eat what you eat. So, everything that you eat, you share it with them. So, if you eat something natural, something that is good, something that is not created using synthetic chemicals, microbes can eat them. So microbes are actually using those. So not everything that you eat is consumed by you. So your microbes are feeding from the food that you eat. Usually we think that microbes are only the microbiome is only using fiber. So we need to feed them fiber. We need to have foods that are high in fiber because of the microbiome. And that's not correct. Microbes can eat fat, can eat protein, can eat carbs and sugar, and they actually love sugar. Usually the bad microbes love sugar, and they can eat fiber as well. So that is a wrong understanding. That is a misunderstanding that we think microbes only thrive on fiber. That is wrong. Protein, fat, carbs, all of them can be used by microbes. So we need to then, so the rule is here, the point is we need to find and consume foods that are natural. So our microbiome is not starving. Those microbes can only use natural food. Okay. And then we expect from the food to come in the body and do two things. One is providing us with energy, the other one helping us to grow and regenerate tissues. How do we know that the food is doing that? What is controlling the food in the body to go, for example, to be stored or to be used for heat or to be used for structural use to create something? That is controlled using hormones. So hormones in the body control everything that we do, everything that the body does. What are hormones? Hormones are chemicals that are carrying a message from one place in the body to another place. So if one organ in your body, like your brain, wants to tell to another organ in the body to do something or to feel something, or it wants to just send a message that I have sensed this, be aware of that. That message can be sent using some chemicals, and those are called hormones. So your brain makes up some chemical and put it in the bloodstream, and it travels throughout the body and reaches into another organ, and it's the message. So the message is received. Your body makes the decision based on your food. So you eat your food, and your body senses that, okay, I have received these components, like this much of protein, and this protein that has come to the body has these amino acids, the basic components of the protein. So I can do this and this and this and create some hormones and send the hormones to different parts of the body. And the body, those other parts decide that, okay, have seen this hormone, so I need to store this food. I need to burn this food. I need to create something using this food. And that's how you get fat, or you get lean, or you lose weight, or you gain weight, or you build some muscle, or you get bulky, or you get thinner. Everything is controlled using the messaging in the body, the hormones, and the hormones are triggered by the food. So you need to choose foods that are good, that trigger good hormones, that trigger healthy hormones. And what are those? What are those foods? Natural foods. Foods that are not created in factories. Okay? We'll see a few examples very soon. The next thing is, why do we eat? So we think that we eat because we are hungry and we need energy. And we think that every time that we are hungry and we want some food is because our brain is low on energy and we want it. That's only one of the reasons. So low on energy, our brain needs food. It sends us out to get some food. Okay, that's one reason. But we also need food when we are emotional. So we are stressed. We want to have some comfort. We eat food because food, as I told you, triggers different hormones. So some foods give you comfort, okay, give you pleasure. So we eat for pleasure, we eat for comfort. Usually sugary foods and stuff like that, they satisfy you. So they trick your brain. And then we crave things. So we're not emotional, we're not stressed, we're not low on energy, but we want that sweet food. We want that piece of chocolate. Why do we need that? Because we crave it. Because our brain is used to it, is addicted to it. That's another reason that we eat. So, why these things are important? I'll tell you in a minute. The next reason is boredom. We don't have anything else to do and we start eating. This is not as relevant to the others. This is a different type of reason for eating, and we need to avoid that. So if you're bored, just do something. Do something else. Okay? Find something. Eating when you're bored is not a good reason. But those first three, low on energy, emotions, and craving, they're very related. So you need to find foods, you need to pick foods that are not only comforting you, and they're not adding to your cravings. So they're not tricking your brain. So if we have foods that are natural, foods that are coming from natural sources, that have all of the nutrients that we want, all of the essential macros and all of the essential micronutrients, then we won't need that craving. We won't need that urge to go and find the food. So we get our energy and we're full. Okay, so that's another rule. Natural food that are coming in the complete form. Okay, let's see how we burn calories. So our body consumes energy, and the energy that it gets from the food to live, to just stay warm, to pump the blood, to let the brain to think, to send messages, to see, touch. and everything that you do to breathe, that energy that you require just to live, not do anything, it's called basal metabolic rate, BMR, the short term. So BMR is the amount of energy that you require to just live without doing anything. And if you do anything on top of that, that's called AMR, active metabolic rate. Okay, so if you exercise for 300 calories, like Volk, and your body requires 2000 calories to live, that's like the usual amount that they say an adult requires, your AMR is 2300 calories. Okay, and then there is this notion of calories in, calories out, or eat less, exercise more. So look at this picture of the train that's going there. So we're just putting some food in it, and it comes. So it produces some energy and some force, and it's a closed system, and it's like that. So they want us to believe that our body is like that engine. So you put something in it, it burns, it actually, gets on fire, and it produces some energy. And that's it. So if your AMR is 2300 calorie and you eat 3000 calorie, you have extra 700 calories, and that's getting stored as fat. That's not complete. So that definition, that rule is not complete. There are few reasons. First of all, the body is not a closed system. That rule is only getting applied to the closed systems. Body is an open system. It has a lot of interaction with the environment. Okay, our skin, we're breathing out. Actually, we're breathing out and peeing out calories. Okay, and we're getting hotter, we're getting colder, and things like that. So the body is not a closed system, so that rule is not correct. And the other thing is, we just learned that the body controls everything that it does with the food using hormones. So you can have some food that tells your body to burn more energy. So same amount of calorie, like 200 calorie of some food, can be stored right away. Same amount of calorie, different food, like 200 calorie again, can be all burned. So you need to choose the foods that are not sending wrong messages in the body. So if you have a sugary food, like a piece of chocolate, it tells you different things, comparing it to if you have like a piece of fruit or some vegetables or a piece of meat or an egg. Okay, so that's how you burn calories, how you burn your food. And it's very important to understand that calories in, calories out, that's totally wrong. That's totally irrelevant to the body. Don't count calories. Just go for the natural foods. Okay. That's another point. And then let's go to see, how do we know that the food that we eat does things that we expect? So we expect the food to come into our body, produce some energy, help us to produce some energy, and help us to grow and regenerate and heal and recover from things. How do we know that it does that? So let's look at these foods that you see in the picture. You see some donuts and some oil. Let's imagine that's olive oil. It's natural oil, and there are two bottles of them. One of them is seed oil, and then there is some grains, almond, and chocolate, biscuit, and things like that. So some of these foods are highly processed or ultra processed. What does it mean? It it means that they have done things to the food that is not in a natural form. It's not in a complete form. Okay? Like the donut that you see there. First of all, the flour, the wheat flour in that donut is highly processed, it's refined. So they've done multiple different things to it to make that flour. And then they've added different things to it. Or that bottle of seed oil, they have pressed it so much and they have exposed it to excessive heat to produce that oil. That oil is not natural. It was natural when it was in the grain, when it was in that olive, for example. But when they pressed it and heated it up, it it is not natural anymore. Okay, so it's ultra processed. And then they have added different things like preservatives, additives, coloring, I don't know, the different things, natural or synthetic flavoring things. So if they add those things to the food, they look good, like I don't know, that biscuit. It looks very good and it tastes very good, but your body doesn't know what to do with those preservatives and additives and coloring and stuff. So those are chemicals that are just go back to the components of the food. Those things are not part of a natural food. So those are not macronutrients and those are not micronutrients. So your body is the cells in the body, they don't know what to do with those. So those are sending wrong messages to the body. Those make the body to create some hormones, to make some hormones that are not suitable, that are not appropriate for that state of your body. For example, you eat something that triggers the body to produce a stress hormone. Okay? You're not stressed, you're just eating, you're hungry, but your body thinks that you're stressed. You're eating not because you want to get fat. Okay? You want to have some energy and you want to go about your day and do things, but you eat something that sends a message to your body to store this food as fat. So, first of all, you're not getting that energy, so you're still hungry, your brain is still starving, it requires the energy, so you want more and more and more. And second, it gets stored right away as fat, as belly fat, or other type of fat, adipose tissue, and stuff like that. So, wrong messages. Okay, so we need to have foods that are not sending wrong messages. And then unnatural ratio of macros. So they do these things to the food to make you want it more. Remember craving? That's one reason that we eat. So they want you to eat more of these things. So they change the ratio, the natural ratio of the macros. For example, in meat you have something around 20% of protein and then 20% of fat and things like that. Let's change that macro, that ratio, and add sugar to it and a bit of more fat. A very fatty and sugary and then salty, add salt to it, and then salty and a very delicious food. And then let's reduce the protein because it's just calorie. Let's bring down the calorie so it's low calorie, so it's a good food. What is it now? It's a piece of chocolate, for example. It's a donut. It has a lot of oil. It's very creamy. It has a lot of, first of all, that oil is processed oil. I just told you about that. So your body doesn't know what to do with it. And then it has a lot of it. So it's very creamy. You like it. And then it's sugary. They added sugar to it. Again, the sugar is processed, refined sugar, so it's not in a natural form, so your body doesn't know what to do with it. And then it has salt, a lot of salt, which is not natural. Again, refined salt, table salt, and a lot of it. So this combination is not natural. Not only the basic components of this food is not natural, they're all processed. The ratio of them is not natural. So your body likes it more and more and doesn't know what to do with it. So you eat that piece of chocolate, it goes straight to your belly fat. It raises your blood sugar. It does different things. It stresses you out and stuff like that. So how do we know that that the food is doing what we expect from it? If it's ultra processed, it's definitely not doing the thing that we want. Go for natural foods. Natural foods are not created in the factories. They don't have a lot of ingredients. They have one ingredient, two ingredients, and you can make them in home. If that donut has 25 different ingredients and you don't recognize half of them, and you cannot make it in home because it requires different equipments like sophisticated machinery to create that, to make that donut, that's not natural. Go for natural food. Go for foods that are not ultra processed. Okay. And then there is bioavailability. Let's give you an example. So let's imagine that we're drinking this protein shake that you see in the picture, and it's a whey protein. Whey protein is the one of the proteins that are coming from milk, from dairy. And the and you can have the other source of protein, which is egg. Okay, let's compare these two. If you have the protein shake, let's say it has 100 grams of protein in it, you can only absorb 19 gram of it, 19%, because whey protein is absorbed at that rate. That's called bioavailability. So bioavailability of the protein of the whey is 19%. Bioavailability of proteins of egg is 32%. So foods are different in that aspect of how much they are available to the body. Okay, so let's talk about vitamins, for example. You eat some food that carrot, for example, has a lot of vitamin A, they say. But is it available to your body? Not as much as if you eat a piece of liver, like organ food. Okay, so foods are different. We need to go for the foods that are more bioavailable to the body, and our body knows how to use it. So there are some nutrients that you find in the food, like spinach has a lot of iron, but it's locked somewhere. You cannot get it out of spinach. Okay, so it's not bioavailable to you. So it's not a good source of iron for your body. Okay, so we need to think of that. So what's the rule here? Go for natural foods again. Natural foods usually have more bioavailability, and then go for the sources that you feel better with them. But there are a lot of nuances there. Okay, I just compared two natural foods like spinach and then liver, and they are very different. So I'll give you more details in future videos, but again, stick with natural foods. And then there is the nutrient complex, and it means the whole packaging that the nutrient comes with. So when you digest and ingest a natural food, all the components of that food that you require, that your body is used to it and it expects from the food, comes together. So for example, when you get vitamin C from a natural source like orange or anything else that is natural, it comes with 7 different components. So it's not just one thing. But the synthetic version that you get from the pills and stuff as a supplement, it's only one thing. It's ascorbic acid that we believe is vitamin C, which is not. It's only one part of it. So there are downsides to it. First of all, obviously, is that you're not getting the whole package, so it doesn't do things that you want to do. So you want to strengthen your immune system, but it doesn't do that. But the second downside of this is that you're providing your body with one component out of a package with a lot of them, a lot of that one component, and you'll be deficient in the rest of them. So by taking the vitamin C supplement, if it's the synthetic version, if it's not a whole package, you're making your body deficient in 6 other things. So your body will have issues that you didn't have before taking that synthetic version. So that's the packaging of nutrients. So when you're getting natural form, it comes with the whole thing, with everything that your body requires. And then other than this packaging, there are some cofactors. So when you're eating, for example, an egg, not only it has different components that come together and work together, it has components that your body requires to actually digest it. Okay, so for example, if you're eating a food that requires some magnesium to be absorbed better or some selenium to work better with your immune system, for example, if you're eating a natural food, they usually always, almost always, come with everything, all of the cofactors that your body requires. So the packaging is one side, cofactors other side. So another rule, go for natural foods. Don't go for supplements, synthetic versions, and stuff like that. Go for natural foods because they come with the whole packaging. And I hope that that makes it clear that the natural foods, they are more bioavailable, they are coming with the complete packaging, they're not processed. Okay. Okay. I hope by now you have a good understanding of what food is and why we are eating food and what do we expect from the food in our body. So what's the purpose of food and what sort of food provide us with those benefits. So what sort of foods are blocking us from providing from producing energy and growing and recreating regenerating tissues, and what sort of food is good for us. So simple rule, very simply put, go for natural foods, go for foods that have um, limited amount of limited number of ingredients. One ingredient is the best. Go for meat, egg, milk, almond, statue, whatever, just one ingredient, whatever that you like. Go for natural foods and avoid ultra processed food, refined sugar, refined flour, refined salt, whatever. Anything that is refined, anything that is produced in a factory, anything that is produced using excessive heat, excessive pressure, a lot of chemicals and stuff like that, avoid them. And we know why. I hope that you understood this. We know why because it messes with our hormonal system. So the hormones in the body, they tell your body to do what. So we want to send good messages to the body. I think that's it. Let's wrap it up. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you got something out of it. Please let me know what you think about this video. in the comment. Please leave me a comment. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment and I'll reply to those. I'll read all of those. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And then go to other platforms as well. Links are in the show note. Please go there and subscribe in the other platforms as well. Until next time, let's focus on hope and wellness. Thank you.